Are you ready for the autumnal season? If your answer is yes, keep watching. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Leandra the TBR Zero, and I'm assuming that you clicked on this video because you're interested in finding out what exactly TBR Harvest is. It is a month-long readathon happening all throughout October, so starting on the 1st all the way up until Halloween night, and we are gonna have fun getting into the spooky or spoopy feels while still focusing on our TBR goals because 2025 is just around the corner. So maybe while doing these activity sheets, you're gonna wanna focus on your neck alley arcs, your library borrows, your physical backlist TBR, or maybe your purchased reads for 2024. Honestly, it's meant to be a readathon for you, however you want to design it. And by making it non-competitive, I figure that if there are competitive readathons going on this month, you can just do both because the more the merrier. My goal for this announcement video is to be short and sweet, so please feel free to take advantage of the timestamps below, consuming whatever information in whatever order you find most helpful. But for me, I'm going to be doing the housekeeping, talking about various events that we're going to be doing throughout the month. Then I'll go into the 3 activity sheets that I have created. If you remember in TBR-a-thon, if you participated in that January readathon, I had 5 different activity sheets. I've dropped it down to 3, and I've brought back 2 that were super popular, and 1 I've recreated for the mood readers out there. Then after we go through the activity sheets, I'll be sure to show you the merch that I'm very excited about. Not only do I have apparel, but this time around I've decided to do bookmarks. They came out way better than I thought, and I'm just so proud of it and very excited. And finally, I'll be sending you on your way. Whether you join in the TBR Harvest spirit or decide to continue searching for the perfect readathon for you, I totally understand, and I really do hope that those of you who do join me in TBR Harvest, that you have so much fun and I get to know you better along the way. First on the agenda is the housekeeping. There are 3 important links below. One of them is to the Discord, TBR Harvest. If you ended up participating in TBR-a-thon back in January and you're still a part of that Discord, you don't have to rejoin. It's the same one, just rebranded. If you ended up leaving, understandably, because Discord can be really overwhelming and having too many Discords at once can just put us over the top, then feel free to rejoin and then hang out with us once again. The other 2 links are for those of you who may not be interested in joining yet another Discord. That's not how you want to participate in this readathon, and I completely understand. The first one is going to be the simple sign-up sheet. Everyone should be filling that out just to confirm how many people are actually interested in this. And then finally, the last link will be a free open Google Drive folder that has all of the graphics, all of the activity sheets that you might want to download so you can participate on your own without joining the Discord. Moreover, if you're not interested in joining the Discord, but you still want to be able to participate in certain reading sprint events that will be hosted throughout the month of October, then I advise you to be sure to subscribe to everyone that is linked below who are deemed official Harvester Sprinters. At the moment, the list may grow, but for now, here are your official harvesters. Bree from 4 Paws in a Book, Brittany from Brittany Loves Reading, Brooklyn from Brooklyn Reads, Cassidy from Covers with Cassidy, Danni from Danni Dabbles, Jack from Spread Book Joy, Krista from Books and Jams, Lauren from Happy Haunts Library, Lexie from Books with Lexie, Mel from Mel Lenore Reads, Meredith from Bin Chicken Books, Monica, A Little Bit of Monica, Nicole, Noteworthy Fiction, Olly from Criminolly, and Rainy from Rainy Blue Reads, including myself. Maybe subscribe to me if you're interested. Each of these booktubers mentioned kindly accepted my request to host one special sprinting session dedicated to TBR Harvest. With this list of harvesters, my main goal was to basically provide you, the viewer at home, at least one new booktuber to try to get to know. So let me know in the comments if I succeeded, or if you're like, I know every single one of these people, so try again, Leandra. Moving on in our agenda, let's talk about the activity sheets. For TBR Harvest, I created 3 different activity sheets. All 3 of them are very much inspired by the themes of spooky season. We have Escape the Haunted House, Escape the Corn Maze, and Trick or Treat TBR. Let's talk about the Escape the Haunted House worksheet first. This is a haunted house and you are desperate to leave before the ghosts, ghouls, or poltergeists get you. You and your Scooby gang start off in the attic and you have a few ways of escaping the house. I believe I provided 4 different routes, and each one requires a certain level of reading. You've got easy mode, which only requires 1, 2, 3 books, and then you've got hard mode, which requires you to go through almost every single room in the house. Those 4 routes require you to read either 3 books, 4 books, 7 books, or 9 books. And those certainly aren't the only ways you can play this game. Maybe your goal is to move about the house, making sure that you hit every single prompt possible. Maybe you start off at the front door. Your goal is to reach the attic, save your Scooby gang, and then make it out together before the month ends. For the most part, the prompts are pretty self-explanatory. You start off in the attic. Below your feet, you hear ghostly moans, heavy creaks, and bone-chilling laughter. To muster the courage to begin your descent, lean on your community. Find a prompt from another readathon happening this month, and read a book to fulfill it. Once completed, you can exit the attic. And this one was my goal of trying to really embrace the booktube community. Make sure you're participating in other readathon options. Plus, I know that there are some that aren't just happening in October. There's Bookemon, there's the Spooky Reading Challenge by Covers with Cassidy, one of our official harvesters. But on top of that, I know of at least 2 different bingo boards going on. This Kiwi, Jess, is hosting Scareathon. She's created an entire bingo board for it. And so is Paco, Bad Witch Books. He ended up creating his Spooktacular Volume 2, and this time it's Disney villain themed. Then when you leave the attic, you've got 3 different options. You can go through the chimney, the bedroom, or the bathroom. And each room comes with a different prompt. For a chimney, because it's dark in there, it's a dark cover. For the bedroom, because there's a black cat that shouldn't be there but is, it's a book relating to superstition. So luck, bad luck, omens, whatever you want to interpret superstition for. For the bathroom, you interrupted a ghost in the bath, so the prompt is I see dead things. It can be in relation to zombies, it can be in relation to a ghost being a character, maybe a ghost is on the cover, maybe the book is written by an author who has passed away. I'm really trying to allow for as much interpretation as possible. If you start in the bathroom, then you're going to be going into the library, and here we're realizing there's another readathon that I'm highlighting. It is Fablen. This is created by the word nerd Margaret, and that one's competitive, and I'm so excited to be a part of it myself, but I am going to let you all figure out what Fablen's all about, because after my video, we're going over to hers. That is, if you're here for the premiere. If you're not, then it'll be linked below. Being inspired by Margaret's Fablen, the prompt is biblio story. So it can be a biblio romance, biblio mystery, maybe it's a biblio horror, some type of book that involves books. I think you're understanding the whole point of this. So if you're interested in seeing more from those prompts, more of those roots within the house, then please go check out the Discord or check out that Google Drive folder. Next, we have Escape the Cord Maze. And yet again, if you participated in TBR-a-thon, this may look very familiar. In January, I did have an activity sheet that was called To Be Rolled, and it was a game board inspired activity sheet. I've brought that back, but made it spooky themed. And this time around, we have a few additional challenges if you're interested in doing this game board. Naturally, you're gonna start off at the beginning of the cord maze, so the very bottom left-hand corner, and then you're gonna make your way and attempt to get to the pumpkin patch. There are various routes, but there's also various obstacles in your way depending on how you want to play. I have created an entire Prompts Explained companion worksheet to follow the game board for those of you who just need a bit more clarity on what each space means. But again, interpret them however you want. Unless you are a big stickler for the rules, then you can go to this activity sheet. More importantly, I'm going to highlight the bonus challenges. Some of these squares are more straightforward than others. 3 that are less straightforward are the activity sheet crossover squares. So they might say trick or treat or escape the haunted house. Those squares, if you land on them, you have to go to one of the other worksheets and do a prompt of your choice from that worksheet. I've also included some tough love squares that are a bit harder, forcing you to get out of your comfort zone or read a book from way back that you've probably been neglecting. Or these squares that force you to stay in the game for a little bit longer, making you go back a certain number of spaces and a little bit further away from your goal, which is the pumpkin patch. But possibly the moment you may have been waiting for is the challenge to collect every single black cat on the board. Reading my own directions, take a path that passes by each cat once. So you can go in various ways, you can go up and down. The arrows that are on the board are just suggestions, but you can move about the board in whatever way you want. There are 6 prompts in total, but you only have to complete 5. If you don't land on a cat square, but instead you pass it by, you have 2 options. So for instance, your first roll, what if it's a 4? That's going to make you pass by the 2 cat prompts that are attached to the first black cat, the mostly black cover or the haunted house on the cover. What if you pass one of those by? Well, you can, 1, combine that cat's prompt with the square prompt you did land on. So as I said, if you ended up landing on a 4, then if you decide to go straight down, straight across, then you're going to land on paranormal read. If you wanted to combine that prompt with the mostly black cover, then you can collect that cat. If you don't want to combine prompts, then there's a second option for you, and that is read a separate additional book for the cat prompt you passed. So again, if you start off the game with a 4, you land on paranormal read, you're going to read 1 book for paranormal read, but if you want to collect that first black cat, then you do have to read a book that is mostly black on the cover. I am open to any questions in the comments or questions on the Discord. So if you need more clarity, especially for the cat collection challenge, please let me know. And finally, we've come to our third board, and that is the Trick or Treat TBR. This one is dedicated to those mood readers out there, and basically you are challenged with collecting as many of these items as possible for the perfect Halloween night. There are 20 prompts, meaning that you can read up to 20 books. However, it's up to you on how hard you want to make this challenge for yourself. If you want to be strict with yourself, saying 1 prompt can only be fulfilled by 1 book, that's totally fine. But if you want to double up, triple up prompts, maybe having 2 prompts count for a book or 3 prompts count in 1 book, that's totally fine. The whole point of this is to allow you to be as flexible or strict as you need to be for the month of October. I'm not gonna lie though, I'm pretty proud of my prompts that I've decided for this. I think I've ranged them from difficult to pretty easy depending on the type of reader you are. For instance, a hot drink on the cover, that's pretty easy, especially if you want to lean into the spooky season. A lot of spoopy reads have hot chocolate, coffee, tea on the cover. But then we're getting a bit more specific with, for instance, the found family trope, if you want to get that slice of pumpkin pie. Or for instance, maybe vampires in the story. That's easy for those of you who like paranormal, supernatural reads, but if that's not something you read, that might be harder for you to get the garlic, but maybe you don't want the garlic. My goal for this Trick or Treat TBR was to accommodate not only mood readers, but all types of readers, depending on the type of spooky season you want. So there are some darker prompts, or at least prompts that allow for darker reads. Meanwhile, there are some for our cozier, spookier readers who can lean into that. So hopefully I've done a good job. I didn't want to get too scary, but I also didn't want to leave those scary readers out there because I'm one of them too. And now it's time for our final chapter. The chapter you may all have been waiting for, merchandise. For TBR Harvest, I have 4 different apparel designs that I'm really proud of. I try to keep them simple, but also ones that you can take advantage of throughout your spooky season. We have the simple TBR Harvest logo that comes in black font, but also white. For those of you who are participating in Escape the Haunted House, I have the same design with your spooky gang in black and white. Whether you are trying to collect all of the black cats or not, I had to include them in my Escape the Corn Maze merchandise. Again, trying to provide as much variety as possible, so those are in black and white too. And then for our Trick or Treat TBR fans, I also have provided you with a nice kind of cute design as an homage to some of the items you might have collected. Unfortunately, I couldn't include all of them, so I had to pick and choose, but there are 5 on each, and I'm pretty happy with how they look. Obviously, it doesn't matter which ones you buy. If you are participating in Escape the Haunted House, but you're a cat person and you are going to be buying the cat merch, I completely agree that's the best decision you could make. So don't feel as though you need to buy the merchandise that matches the activity sheet you're participating in, because you want to buy something that is best for you, that you're going to enjoy wearing and want to wear every single year. Or all year, because for some of us, spooky season never ends. If you're someone who does want a souvenir for this readathon, but apparel just isn't for you, or you have enough t-shirts, sweatshirts that are bookish in theme, well, don't worry, I have bookmarks. I have 3 different designs. Each one is dedicated to one of the activity sheets. All of them are double-sided, and one of the sides is gorgeously showcasing the TBR Harvest readathon. I'm so happy with how this turned out. I decided to kind of risk it and go for gold, but I think it ended up turning out really well, and a big shout out to Bree from 4 Paws in a Book for helping me out, because I had no idea what I was doing. And as I said, on the other side, each one is dedicated to a different Oh, I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted by my own stuff. As I said, each bookmark design is dedicated to one of the activity sheets. We have Escape the Corn Maze, featuring these 5 gorgeously golden cats, the Trick or Treat TBR bookmark, and then the Escape the Haunted House bookmark with your Scooby Gang and some spooky spiders. For those of you who are interested in the apparel, I will have my Bonfire link below. If you ended up missing out on TBR-a-thon, that merch is still on there too, and all of the proceeds for anything that's TBR-a-thon merch actually goes to the American Library Association. Now, if you want the bookmarks, those I had to put up on Etsy, so the Etsy link will be below for these. All right, I think that's it. If I forgot anything, well, it's too late now. Thank you all so much for getting to the end of this video, for getting as excited as I am for TBR Harvest. I hope you participate, but again, if not, I'll make sure to have all of the creators I've listed below who are also doing readathons either throughout the year for spooky season or for the month of October. I'll also put in below too, if you don't know who she is, Paige from Pages with Paige. She tends to do a video once a month highlighting all of the readathons that she knows of coming up, so be sure to give her a subscription too. Or how is that? Subscribe to her. Go subscribe to her. And also a quick thank you to my guests at the manor, my sleuths, witnesses, suspects, and corpses. You all have been so supportive as I've been planning these past couple months for TBR Harvest, and I'm just so grateful to you all. Have a glorious spooky season, however you decide to spend it. Bye.